After the anguished Stardust Memories, which many critics thought was too much like a visit to Woody Allen's Analyst, he turned to more traditional forms of storytelling and returned to humour. In A Midsummer Night's Sex Comedy, he explored the relationship between love and magic as three couples exchange ideas and partners during a romantic summer weekend. The setting, an unlikely one for Woody Allen, was the countryside at its most picturesque. This was followed in 1983 by Zelig, a technically brilliant pseudo-documentary blending new footage with old archive film about a human chameleon who gets his appearance and his values from the strongest personalities he meets. Both films featured Woody Allen and Mia Farrow, who by now had become his partner on screen and in real life. His tribute to her talent was Broadway Danny Rose, in which she played a larger-than-life gangster's moll who gets involved with a legendary, small-time theatrical agent.
Believe me, you must be doing something wrong if everybody leaves you.
No, what am I doing wrong? I find them, I discover them, I breathe life into them, and then they go. And no guilt. I mean, they don't feel guilty or anything. They just split.
Guilty? What the hell is that? You know, they see something better and they grab it. Who's got time for guilt?
What are you talking about? Guilt is important. It's important to feel guilty. Otherwise, you're capable of terrible things. It's very important to be guilty. I'm guilty all the time, and I never did anything, My Rabbi Perlstein, used to say we're all guilty in the eyes of God.
You believe in God?
No. Mia and I eat at an Italian restaurant in town frequently, and there's a woman who owns it. And Mia said to me, I'd always wanted to play someone who looked like that. And this woman, has got that blonde hair, and she's always got dark glasses on, even if it's 2 in the morning, and smokes a cigarette, and she looks great. I thought, what could I write for Mia where she could play something like that? And then the story began to come to me, and I started to do it.
You got a fantastic performance out of Mia Farrow.
Oh, she was great.
It was just a revelation, actually.
She was great, yeah. She was great.
Could be broad and brassy and all that.
To me, too. She lost her nerve, of course, when we started to shoot, and said, no, I don't know how I got into this. I don't think I can do it. But she was wonderful from the first day.
Johnny's all right. He was really nice to me when my marriage fell apart.
Yes, and what did your husband do?
A little bookmaking, some loan sharking, extortion, like that.
So you're professional. What'd you do? You divorced him, or you got a separation, or what?
Some guys shot him in the eyes.
Really? He's blind?
Dead.
He's dead, of course, because the bullets go right through. Well, it's not easy for an actress to work behind dark glasses for a whole movie, because you don't realize until you try it how much they're doing with their eyes, and that's suddenly out of bounds for them.
In a way, you surprised me that it started with that aspect of the story rather than with the vaudeville aspect of it, because the vaudeville side seems to be nearer to you.
But that
you brought up in that school.
That was incidental material from my life. I mean, I wanted to do that story about her, and as I began developing the story and my characters, evolved, I was able to draw on things that I knew about, which was my own beginnings in, not quite vaudeville, but nightclubs.
You're really, really beautiful. What sign are you, darling? You know what sign you are?
What?
What? She says what? She's great. But I drove up here today. I love driving. You run across so many interesting people. And I saw a terrible accident. 2 taxi cabs collided. 30 Scotchmen were killed.
One of the themes of Broadway Danny Rose is how all that's decayed. It's gone, in a way.
Right, that kind of thing is just about gone. I mean, it does exist to a degree, but when I first started, it was already on the wane, and it was a very rich, wonderful world of comedians and jugglers and strange acts and balloon folders and ventriloquists, and each one thinking that huge success was just around the corner and hoping that they would get the perfect manager to make them famous, and invariably the manager would find them and build them up to some small degree, and then they would leave him.
If I had all the acts in this business that I started that made it, I'd be a rich man today.
I'd like to help you, Danny. But Weinstein's majestic bungalow colony is a classy place, and I need a classy act.
Well, that's why I want to show you this lady. She is the Yasha Heifetz of this instrument. She is really something. You got to see this, Philly. It's absolutely incredible. Just never took a lesson. Self-taught. Next year, Philly, my hand to God, she's going to be at Carnegie Hall. But I let you have her now at the old price, okay? Which is anything you want to give me. Anything at all, Philly.
The Purple Rose of Cairo partly celebrates the power of cinema to help people escape, but also shows that that's a trap. And yet it's set in the past. Do you think that cinema no longer has that power?
It probably does to a degree, not like it did when I was growing up, because there was no television, and you know, and before I grew up in the 30s, in the 20s, you know what a mad scene that was. People just rushing to the cinema. Where I grew up, it was a little dinky neighborhood in Brooklyn. There were 20 wonderful cinemas, you know, within 10 blocks of my house or something. I mean, you just couldn't believe it. The whole country was cinema crazy. And the big studios were making, you know, hundreds of films a year. Now they don't do that anymore. But in those days, it had huge power of empathy and escapism.
My God, you must really love this picture.
Me?
You've been here all day, and I've seen you here twice before.
You mean me?
Yes, you. This is the 5th time you're seeing this.
Henry, come here, quickly.
I gotta speak to you. Oh, my God! Listen, old sport, you're on the wrong side.
Tom, get back here. We're in the middle of a story.
Have a look around. Go on without me.
We can't continue with the story.
This is Cecilia. I'll go get the manager.
Let's get out of here and go somewhere where we can talk.
Wrong, Cecilia. I'm free. After 2,000 performances, the same knot routine, I'm free.
Call Father Donnelly.
Tom! I don't understand. What's going on? Who are you?
The film was only incidentally about cinema. It could have just as easily been a character from a book she's reading comes out to her, or a character who walks off a stage play.
Well, I'm out before the wedding. I'm free.
And I just wanted to do that because it was a good graphic for me. But the object of the movie was very simply put to show that that we all have to choose between reality and fantasy, and we're of course forced to choose reality, otherwise, you know, the other way lies madness. And when you choose reality, you get hurt, because reality hurts you, and that's what she did. She was at least mature enough in the movie at the end to choose reality over fantasy, and then the reality stabbed her in the back, because that's what reality does. It kills you.
Not always, but...
No, but enough times. It does always kill you, actually.
The Purple Rose of Cairo is Woody Allen's personal favourite among his films, but Hannah and Her Sisters, which followed, was much more successful both with the critics and the public. In fact, it got the best reviews of any Woody Allen film. The story of 3 sisters in New York who changed their partners over a 2-year period was originally suggested by a reading of Tolstoy's Anna Karenina. But were the 3 male characters, romantic Michael Caine, gloomy Max von Sydow, and neurotic Woody Allen, more like 3 aspects of Woody's own personality?
Here, your observation is correct, I will say. This is true. I could have played any of those roles and did feel, you know, I felt that that I could have played the part that Michael Caine played, perhaps not as well, but I could have played it. And I played the part I did play, and I could have played Max von Sydow's part also, because I did feel I was writing myself in all those characters, definitely.
Are you angry with me?
No,
Do you feel, are you disenchanted with our marriage?
I didn't say that.
Are you in love with someone else?
My God, what is this? The Gestapo? No.
Well, what? What are you not telling me?
What kind of interrogation? Supposing I said yes, I am disenchanted. I am in love with someone else.
Are you?
No. But you keep asking these awful questions. My God, it's like you want me to say yes.
What are you talking about? Of course not. I'd be destroyed.
For Christ's sake, stop torturing her. Tell her you want out and get it over with. You're in love with her sister. You didn't do it on purpose. Be honest. It's always the best way.
Can I help you? If you're suffering over something, will you share it with me?
Emma, you know how much I love you.
I think it's probably the first Woody Allen film they've ever seen which doesn't have a sting in its tail, where they don't leave thinking, God, you know, the last 5 minutes just turned me completely around. It seems optimistic. I mean, is it?
It's only optimistic in the sections that I failed, because I wanted to make a film that was not optimistic. I wanted to make a film about a man's irrational, sudden passion for his sister-in-law, you know, and a man who's told that he's going to die, and when it turns out that he's not, doesn't want to go back to work or anything, and just walks the streets questioning life, and finally doesn't come to any big conclusion.
A week ago, I bought a rifle. I went to the store, I bought a rifle. I was going to, you know, if they told me that I had a tumor, I was going to kill myself. The only thing that might have stopped me, is my parents would be devastated. I would have had to shoot them also first. And then I have an aunt and uncle. Would have been a bloodbath.
Well,
you know, eventually it is going to happen to all of us.
Yes, but doesn't that ruin everything for you? That makes everything, you know, it just takes the pleasure out of everything. I mean, you're going to die, I'm going to die, the audience is going to die, the network's going to, the sponsor, everything.
I know, and your hamster.
Yes.
Listen, kid, I think you snapped your cap. Maybe you need a few weeks in Bermuda or something. Or go to a whorehouse.
I can't stay on the show. I got to get some answers. Otherwise, I'm telling you, I'm going to do something drastic.
I mean, I wanted it to be a melancholy film for the most part, but for some reason, incompetence in the directing or the writing or something, the emphasis shifted so that it was perceived by audiences as more up and optimistic than I had intended. And consequently was very popular.